Hey guys, Toast here. Today we're going to discuss my top 5 tips to improve your gameplay as the Scout class in Battlefield 1. These tips are designed to make you a more useful Scout to your teammates, as well as improve your survivability and increase your skill and level of comfort with this particular class. These tips are in no particular order, as I feel that they're all very important to being an effective Scout. The Scout class is given a very useful tool that it seems people use far less often than they should. I'm speaking, of course, about the flare. As a Scout, you're capable of holding 2 flares at any point, which, once deployed, will highlight enemies on the minimap for all of your teammates to see. Not only does it make the enemies easier to find for both you and your teammates, but it also grants you points for every time one of your teammates kills an enemy while they're spotted from the flare, and even more points if it happens to be one of your squad mates who gets the kill. Because the flare is shot from a gun, you have a very significant distance that can be covered, so regardless of where the recon is needed, you're capable of providing it. In addition to that, the flare is capable of setting enemies on fire, and while it's unlikely to bring an enemy from 100% health down to 0, it's enough to allow you to take out their remaining health with one shot from most of the Scout weapons, or at the very least make their likeliness of getting away from your teammates very slim. You have an amazingly versatile and useful gadget, so be sure to use it. As the Scout class, every shot counts because a single miss could very well be the difference between life and death. Accuracy is king with this class, but something to keep in mind is that the vast majority of the rifles by default are set to a zeroing distance of 75 meters. This means that at 75 meters from the end of your weapon, the bullet would hit exactly where the center of your reticle is aiming. How does this play into your aim? Well, normally when a rifle is set to a zeroing distance of 0 meters, you're trying to aim slightly above the head or for the very tip of the head of your target, depending on their distance, in order to compensate for any bullet drop that'll occur between you and them. Because your default and lowest zeroing distance option is 75 meters, this means that you now need to compensate less for bullet drop than you would normally anticipate. If you're used to playing games where the default zeroing distance of 0 meters is standard, then this may throw you off a little bit, as you're likely to end up aiming a bit too high over the target's head to hit the shot. Remember that you don't have to aim quite as high as you may think because of this. Practice is key to get the feel for it. When you select your loadout for most classes, you probably put most of your attention toward your primary weapon and your gadgets, leaving the secondary weapon as little more than an afterthought. This isn't much of a problem for most classes, as pretty much all medic, support, and assault weapons, while not necessarily excelling in close range, are capable of being used competently. With the vast majority of Scout class weapons, this isn't really the case. If an enemy closes the gap on you, your secondary weapon is going to become your most reliable source of damage. Because of this, your choice of secondary weapon becomes significantly more important, as you're very likely going to find yourself using it more often with this class than with all others, whether it be as a way to fend off enemies closing the gap, or as a way to finish off an enemy who you've hit with your primary but didn't kill. There's a notable variety of sidearms available to you, giving you options of weapons that are faster firing with lower damage per bullet, or slower firing with higher damage per bullet. Find the sidearm you're comfortable with and make sure that you're aware of what you have when you spawn in. It's going to make a much bigger difference with this class. One of your primary responsibilities as a Scout is to ensure that your team knows where the enemy team is located. While flares are amazing for spotting enemies, they're also limited and rely on supports to resupply them. The trench Periscope, on the other hand, is an unlimited tool that can also be used from a safe location. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with this gadget, it allows you to see over cover and spot enemies. Instead of just normal spotting though, which places the enemy on the minimap and puts a marker over their head, the trench Periscope also outlines and highlights the target in red, making them much easier to acquire once you've put the Periscope down, and also allowing you to better track their trajectory should they be moving locations. To add on to that, there's also a rangefinder on the side of the Periscope, which will make these long-distance shots much easier to tackle since you won't be guessing the distance of your target. All of these facets combine to make a really powerful gadget that offers great utility and can be used from the safety of cover. If you're focusing on trying to take some longer distance shots, this is an amazing tool to bring with you. This is something that I can't stress enough. While you're equipped with various forms of mid to long range rifles, your class name and designation is Scout, not Sniper. Sure, you're fully capable of sitting in the back of the map taking potshots at enemies that happen to cross your line of sight, but you're missing key elements of how the class can be leveraged. The ideal scout should be pushing forward with their team toward the most pertinent objective, flaring the area to alert the team to enemies, acting as a mobile spawn point for their squad mates, and setting traps in the form of tripwire bombs to cover your allies' flanks. That doesn't mean that you have to, or even really should, blatantly run into the heat of battle, but if you're spending the majority of your time and energy trying to get those marksman shots instead of helping your team on objectives, then you're really missing a lot of the benefit that the class has to offer. Not only are you likely to get more points by moving with your squad and playing the objective, but your teammates are going to be significantly more inclined to provide you with ammo, heal you, and revive you when they know that you're being an active part of an objective-based push. Now, I want to know some of the things that you think are important to do as the Scout class in Battlefield 1. Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more content, please subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Toast, and I'll talk to you soon.